Hey guys, it's spoiler season, and you know what that means. Other than getting my card neutral, it means it's time for some, what do we call this? The scoop phase. Oh yeah guys, scooping it up, walking out of the building, dropping some mics, and then we're gonna use some spoilers. I'm not going to go over all of them since I'm not with co-host Lackey number 2. I'm just kind of driving in a really loud place right now, so I'm hoping you guys can hear me. If not, you won't hear this because I'll delete it. But there's one card I definitely want to talk about. It just came up today, September 2nd, when I'm recording this. Hopefully when it's also going up is Mardu Ascendancy. And it's an enchantment for one of each of the Mardu colors, a single red, white, black mana. Whenever a non-token creature you control attacks, you get a 1/1 red goblin creature token into play, tapped and attacking. Hold on, I turned away. Give me a second. I want to make sure I'm not going to get hit by a car. You get, whenever a creature you control attacks, you get a 1/1 red creature goblin token into play, tapped and attacking. You can sacrifice any creatures you control +0/+3. That ability is cool. It can save your creatures in combat, which is nice. Mizzy Mortars isn't really a thing anymore, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm a lot more happy about its obvious interaction with Goblin Rabblemaster and Foundry Street Denizen. I don't know how good a red, white, black aggro deck is going to be in Standard, as it's a 3-color mana base without shocks now, as those are gone. So those are not an option for a mana base. You have Painlands, Shocklands, these Tri-lands, and Temples. So I feel like you might be able to build a red, white, black aggro mana base. Even if it is a bit painful with like 4 mana influence, a bunch of Painlands, you can take your pain at the price of destroying every non-aggro deck you go up against. But once again, life loss is a big thing, and you might end up regretting it. But still, if you can place the right mixture of tap lands with your untapped lands, you can build a decent aggro deck on 3 colors. This card, I want to try and play it in Modern. I'm probably not going to because of its 3 mana. And how hard it is, like, well, not really that hard to brew up a 3-color aggro deck. But I'm kind of lazy right now. I have a couple decks brewed up already. But things like Quest of the Goblin Lord, already, like I said, Goblin Roundmaster, Foundry Denizen, they would love this card. With Foundry Denizen, the obvious interaction is, if you're going to get a token into play, for each attacking creature that's not a token you control, he'll get a trigger on each of them. Rabblemaster, you have to stack your triggers correctly, or you can shortcut it and say, I'm going to stack it in such a way that my Rabblemaster will get a boost from these non-tokens. Which is weird. Normally, this wouldn't be able to happen, but since it's your triggers, and Goblin Rabblemaster's ability checks when it resolves, you can stack it in such a way that his goes on first, this enchantment's ability goes on second, it will resolve first, you'll get all your goblins, his will resolve second, you'll check, and he'll get even more power than he would with just like his own goblin token and a Foundry Denizen. Even if it's just him, Foundry Denizen, you'd get your 1/1 token from him, and then you get 2 more. The Denizen would be attacking for 4, you'd be attacking for 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe attacking for 6, and you have these 3 goblins attacking. And even if they block, you still have this enchantment to save your Goblin Rabblemaster and Foundry Denizen if you really wanted to. So I definitely think that this card might have a huge impact in Standard, or it'll just be a huge flop. Maybe some kind of red, white, black mid-range deck will come out that can sideboard this for the control matchup, but I don't really see that happening. I only kind of see this fitting in an aggressive deck, but I could be wrong. Unfortunately, if there is a token second Standard, it doesn't really want this card other than a way to stop something like a Mizzy Mortar's Anger of the Gods card, because it says non-token. But it does stop Anger of the Gods if you're playing some kind of red, white, black beatdown deck. That is also something to note. It'll just mute out an Anger of the Gods if that's relevant in the format. Unfortunately, we're losing all our Spring Ravnica cards as soon as this card comes into Standard, but I'm going to be happy. I'm going to try and make this work. You guys will probably end up seeing it, calling me an idiot, and watching my failure. But I think I've said enough on this card that I am a huge, huge, huge fan of. And we'll get on to some other spoilers. Anafenza, the Foremost. It is 1 green, 1 white, 1 black for a 4/4. So 3 mana 4/4. historically extremely powerful. Abrupt decay is leaving the format, so this card might be even better. Once again, not entirely sure how a 3-color mana base is going to work in the upcoming standard, but it should be pretty good. But it has a nice little ability. Whenever it attacks, another target creature you control gets a +1/+1 counter. Or, I guess it's proper wording, put a +1/+1 counter on another target creature you control. Unfortunately, it is legendary, so you can't play too many, but I don't think that's a big problem. Loxodon Spider was very big in standard for a short while. This is kind of like a variant of Loxodon Spider. It's not uncounterable, and it makes other creatures bigger, which is cool. It can work very well with things like Fleecemane Lion, putting a counter on it if you Monstrous it, or even before you Monstrous it, it's still fine. And then when you Monstrous your Fleecemane Lion, it's indestructible and it's getting bigger. Unfortunately, unless they print a Mirror Gallery type card, you don't want too many of these. But it's definitely something worth noting. Could impact Modern. 3-mana 4/4s are very good in Modern. They don't die to Path to Exile, they do die to Path, but they don't die to Lightning Bolt, Electrolyze, Lightning Helix. A lot of the cheap efficient removal in Modern is 1 mana. Has a lot of sees play, i.e. Lightning Bolt. You can't really touch it. Not to mention, you can always play it on turn 2 in Modern, or even Standard with Elvish Mystic, depending on how good mana is. It looks like mana will be extremely good, but it might be a bit clunky. So we'll see how that impacts the brewing of decks in Standard. I personally am actually very excited to go back into Standard with fetch lands, temples, pain lands, mana confluence, and those tri-lands to mess around with on mana bases. A really neat mix of lands to see. Not to mention a bunch of them are going to be in that sweet new N15 frame that came out, which I'm a big fan of. But anyway, yeah, we're getting sidetracked. What else did I want to talk about? There was one other thing. Oh yeah, I want to talk about this card not for spoiler purposes, because I don't think it's that good for like constructed play outside of maybe EDH, but even then, man, is a Nexus of Ugin, or Ugin's Nexus. I want to talk about this because of flavor. The flavor text on it is awesome. It's all at once Sarkhan's mind fell silent, and if you don't know the flavor behind Sarkhan the Mad, he left his homeworld, which is where we are now, looking for dragons. Well, when we first encountered him, he was Sarkhan Bull, out looking for dragons. He found Nicobolus, praised Nicobolus because he's a giant dragon planeswalker. Super cool, super VA. Unfortunately, he got, like, kind of just blown out by Nicobolus. Nicobolus being, evil, the greatest villain of the multiverse. He's kind of a jerk. And then we got Sarkhan the Mad after that happened. He's a crazy guy now. He's still looking for dragons. And hates Nicobolus. According to this, he's now sane. The time travel element in this set's really weird. I'm assuming this is how it's working. He's found Ugin, or Ugin found him one way or the other. And now he's sane again, which is where we get our awesome Sarkhan Planeswalker, which I'll wait for Kawasaki number 2. That's really loud. I'll wait for Kawasaki number 2 to talk about the new Sarkhan Planeswalker, because I know him and I are very excited about it, as I'm sure a lot of people are. I thought it's cool, like, Sarkhan, I made the joke of Sarkhan the Same. I wish they'd put that on the card name, that would have been awesome. They probably did not put that on the card name, guys. Sarkhan the Sane would be like, it wouldn't be a great name, but I would enjoy it. Another flavor thing is we have Sorin, Solemn Visitor. Very interesting card in and of itself. This +1, creatures you control get +1/+0 and lifelink until your next turn. So you can block better. Is it just lifelink? Hold on. +1/+0 and gain lifelink, so yeah. Which is very good for blocking situations sometimes. It'll make attacking very bad for your opponent. Maybe in a deck with Lingering Souls where you don't want to be attacking, you can play this, you can plus. Your 1/1 spirits will become 2/1 spirits with lifelink that can block until your next turn. He'll go up to 5, so he's really hard to burn out. Going up to 5 is a big deal for any planeswalkers you play in Modern. Going up to 4 is also just as big. But I don't think his abilities are quite that powerful enough for Modern. His -2 is you get a 2/2 black Flying Vampire with... Oh yeah, Flying Vampire token. Flying Black Rainbow token. That's a Bloodline Keeper. Is the old standard card that did that. Yeah, it's the old standard card that did that. Sorin, Lord of Innistrad, was the last black-white one. Did someone die? Something happened. Oh well. There's people on the side of the road. Something happened. Sorin, Lord of Innistrad, I think, was much better than this. This is +1. Even though it was just a 1/1 vampire, it was a 1/1 lifelink vampire. Anyway, talking about the new Sorin. The new, quote-unquote, new Sorin. His ultimate is, at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, they sacrifice a creature. Here's what Sorin is right now, cons. Here's where the time travel element starts confusing me, because I don't know if Ugin's Nexus is new, or if Ugin's Nexus is before he became Sarkhan the Mad. I think it's after. Otherwise he wouldn't, need to be called Sarkhan the Mad. Anyway. It's, this Sorin is actually on cons, looking for the Spirit Dragon Ugin. I'm assuming at this time he thinks Ugin's not dead. But the Eldrazi are a huge problem up on Zendikar. Even at this point, this is when they were first bound by Ugin. It was Sorin, Ugin, and a Lithomancer. I don't know what a Lithomancer is, but that's what it was. These three bound the Eldrazi to the Hedrons on Zendikar. The thing on the end of Sarkhan's staff, that's a Hedron. They are notably bigger than the ones that bound the Eldrazi. Nika Bolas and Nissa were involved in setting them free, mainly Nissa. But yeah, Sorin comes to cons looking for Ugin, because Ugin is a super vamp dragon. He finds him dead, he's kind of all sad, but guess what? Ugin's a spirit dragon now, so it works out in the end, at least temporarily. But yes, Sorin goes there looking for Ugin. He might run into Sarkhan, probably not. So yeah, this is kind of a touch on the Eldrazi flavor, which is where we get our fetch lands from. So happy to have fetch lands back, and so many people called it. Not really bragging, because it was pretty obvious, but yeah, fetch lands. Anyway, yeah, this is touching on the Zendikar storyline, which actually is very exciting set-wise, block-wise. We could have some really cool Zendikar-based cards. Maybe the Eldrazi are in this set. Probably not, as I don't think that would be very fun. Personally, I'd rather have them just on like a Zendikar world. But yes. So that's how our fetch lands make flavor sense without landfall. This is the before the Eldrazi were bound. So I guess the fetch lands traveled with Sorin and Ugin back to Zendikar or something? I don't know. But it's neat. The flavor's very good in this set. There's a lot more flavor than just this that you guys can go probably find out about on like Daily Salvation or whatever it is. Oh, big bump. Oh yeah, and then the last thing I want to talk about before I leave. Fetch lands back in Standard. Woo! These are the Odyssey fetch lands. They're the ones that were not in Modern yet, which is sweet because now not only are they cheaper for Legacy players, they get into Modern, but they're going to have to play in Standard. Right now they're cheap, $15, $20. Guys, unless you're trading them off to get things you're going to play with, be picking these up. Though they're pre-ordering for like $15, $20, they're going to be a lot more than that in the future. Well, awkward phone. They're going to be a lot more than that in the future. Because they're going to see Modern play. They're going to see Legacy play. They see you play. And for the next 18 months? Yeah, 18 months after they come into Standard, they're going to see Standard play. So they're going to see play across almost every format. They probably even see play in Vintage, honestly. I'm not too sure how Vintage mana bases work outside of Monsters and Black Lotuses, but if they play lands, probably fetch lands and some dual lands. But yes, fetch lands see play across a variety of formats. $15, $20 is criminally low for these cards. Because after they rotate, they're going to do nothing but go up after their initial drop. The boxes of these sets, if you guys get extras, like you'll buy two, open them, have a third, hold on to it, it's going to be worth a lot of money in the future simply because it has 5 fetch lands in it. And the fetch lands are going to see play. Speculators, obviously going to be picking these up. Hopefully, Wizards put a very large amount of fetch lands into the packs, unlike they did with, like, Dragon's Maze. It was like one in, like, you were more likely to pull a foil, and I think when you were to pull one of the lands as your extra land in your pack, like, I got a box and pulled a Temple Garden. Dragon's Maze, yeah, I was not happy with my box, by the way, guys. I know 2 other people, they didn't even get shock lands. And, like, they bought it from the same case. They just weren't that many. I don't know if we were just unlucky or what. They hopefully do it like Gatecrash, like every about 1 in 4 packs there was a shock land. And hopefully about every 1 in 4 packs there was a fetch land. Ideally more foil fetch lands would be nice. Or like just fetch lands with foil, standard, rare in the back. Just because I want these to be available to new players. If people are just snatching them up, they're going to hold on to them so they go up. Because they're also just naturally going to go up as they see tons of play. The demand for them is going to be super high. I don't want people to just be holding on to them. I want them to be able to go to the market. Everyone who needs theirs has them, and then people start getting them. And then a couple years down the road, newer players keep coming in. They need their fetch lands for their formats. They get them then. But that's just kind of my ramblings on fetch lands. The coolest, probably the coolest lands I can think of outside of like lands that have activated abilities. Pretty cool too. Anyway, guys, I'm rambling, going crazy. I'm almost where I'm gonna stop. So I'm gonna say bye, guys. Have a great day. Kozaki number 2 will be here for the next episode where we'll talk about some of the more exciting cards outside of fetch lands coming up in this next set. Comes from Tarkir. I'm gonna try and not get pulled over by a cop as I drive through this school zone. Bye, guys.